Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a video about Holic Wigs, and I have 7 different wigs to show you, and I'm going to be showing you the details of those wigs and what they're called and what the colors are like, and kind of giving my review and impressions on these wigs. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this video is because it is a little bit hard to shop for Holic wigs sometimes, just because they don't have stock photos that really clearly show you the wig and the color that goes with the wig for every colorway. So I think it's really helpful to maybe be able to see some of these wigs in a natural light and get some details on what they really look like. So I really like Holic. I do think that their website is lacking in terms of making it clear what wigs of particular colorways will look like. But the first one I'm going to show, this one is called Canal A, and I actually bought this in person at TECO, which is an anime convention in Pittsburgh. This wig was $45 at the convention, and that's also the same price that you will find it for on Holic USA's website. So one thing I kind of learned after the con, after I knew that I really liked these wigs, is that they are cheaper on Holic's Taobao store. So if you're comfortable with ordering from Taobao, it is a much better bargain to order their wigs from there. But the Holic USA site or the Store Envy site are convenient and functional. I'm sure I haven't ordered from them, but they look legit. So that's always an option as well. So this wig is the Berry Jam colorway. And this is a really awesome color. Here at the top, there are actually purple strands of hair, and then it kind of fades into a dark pink. And then at the bottom, the tips are a really light pink color. So this has 3 different colors in it, and it's a really natural looking gradation. The bangs here don't really get any of the light pink, but they do have the purple at the tips. And the purple is subtle, so you really have to look at the root to see the purple, and that's kind of a detail I really appreciate, because when you're wearing it, it just kind of looks like the roots of your hair are a little bit darker, which is kind of how most people with colored hair have their hair. So this wig, because it has these twin tails, they're kind of like, half twin tails. Let me just take that off there. There actually is not as much hair on the rest of the wig as some of Holic's other wigs. So that's one thing to watch out for. You can style this wig, so I've done it in the ponytail and I've done it with low pigtails, but you can kind of see some of the netting that makes up the base of the wig when you use those styles, just because they didn't put as much hair on the wig. And here's the other twin tail. So one thing you'll notice about these, and all of Holic's wigs are the same in terms of how these clips work. They have this like thing on the bottom. I don't even know what to call it, but basically there's elastic all throughout here, and then here's like a plastic thing and this is like tied together. So basically you can loosen this elastic and then pull down this plastic. And what that's supposed to do is actually adjust like the perkiness of this clip-in hair. This is something I talked about with the shop girl for Holic at TECO, because when I bought this wig, I didn't really see the point in having this, because it does kind of stick out a little. You have to try to hide it when you're wearing the wig. And she said that's what it was for. So I haven't really experimented with it much. I used it once and it didn't really seem to do much, but I guess here you can see there's a little bit of perkiness to this hair, and this is pulled up to the kind of tightest setting. So I guess if I wanted this to look a lot more looser, maybe that would work. Now these clips, they have lost a little bit of their curliness since I bought it. So I got this about 4 months ago now, and I have combed it and brushed it a lot and all that. So I could use a low heat tool to kind of wrap this curl to be a little tighter. I actually like it the way it is right now, so I'm not very concerned with that at this moment. And to put in these clips, I noticed that you kind of have to clip them into the base of the wig, kind of clip them into the netting kind of, or else they don't really stay. They kind of slip down. And that was one thing I kind of struggled with at the beginning, whoops, with this wig, because I kind of thought, well, that's not what you do, you know, you clip them into the hair. But no, I found that you do kind of have to clip them into the netting for them to stay. So I should have left this off the head actually, but one thing I wanted to show you was this wig inside the cap here. It does have a Dream Holic tag, and there are Dream Holic replicas out there, and that's something that the company has officially posted about. So do be careful when ordering these wigs from stores that are not officially Dream Holic, because they may be replica wigs. The real wig will have the tag in it, and it's probably safest to order them from their Taobao store or their official stores, or maybe a really trustworthy reseller like My Lolita Dress or Glitzy Wonderland, someplace that actually buys them from the brands. And the inside of the wig here also has adjustable straps, and these are kind of hard to show because they're a little bit unwieldy to look at, but basically it has these elastic straps, and then there is a clip at the end of those, and then here at the bottom there's kind of like loopholes that you can put those clips in. So you can make this wig fit smaller for smaller heads. I wear it on kind of the next to last setting. I think maybe because I have a lot of hair, it does add some volume to my head. But if you wore it on the last setting, you could have even more hair and wear this wig, or you could just not put it on any setting, and then you would get a really more full, bigger, you know, size for this wig. Now, if you're not wearing a wig cap, which I've never done, but it's possible, I guess, there are clips in here for your natural hair to hold it into place. There's one in the front that's just like a basic clip, and then on each side there's one of these snap clips, and these are the kind that stay in real good. I can't imagine it would be all that comfortable, because these snap clips actually fall like kind of right here around your temple, and I think it can be kind of painful to have something clipped in around that area of your head. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend using those, but if you're going to wear one of these wigs without a wig cap, I suppose they would probably work. And the inside color of this wig is a brown color, kind of a medium brown, and I found that's the color they generally use for the inside of all of their wigs. Kind of better than, you know, a black or a blondish color. You know, when you do a medium brown, it's more likely to at least be neutrally good for most hair colors. So overall, this was my first wig, and I was so impressed with it that I continued to buy Dream Holic wigs. It actually looks pretty natural worn. Not necessarily the color, but the way it sits on the head and the way the hair falls, and it's very soft. And it's very easy to brush and comb. I have one other wig from a more inexpensive Taobao brand called Man Really, and it's a very full wig and it has a lot of hair and all that, but it's not soft to the touch. It feels really plasticky. It's a lot more shiny. These wigs are not super shiny. They are somewhat shiny because they are artificial hair, but they aren't incredibly shiny. My favorite way to wear this wig is actually with just one of the clips in. I actually think it looks more natural that way. You know, with both, it's kind of, I don't know, a little too cutesy, a little too unrealistic. It's kind of like too much hair, you know? So with one clip in, it kind of looks a little more natural. The bangs, I did trim on this one. They were quite a bit longer. I actually trimmed them a little bit too short, but they're not too bad. And the shop girl described these to me as air bangs. On their website, they call them wispy bangs. So you're not getting like a full head of really thick bangs with these wigs. And they do have a bit of a curl on the end to them. Overall, very nice and highly recommend. And so this next one I want to show, I also bought this at Teco. This was an impulse buy right before I headed home on Sunday of the convention. This wig is called Bianca, and this color is Tear of Mermaid. So this is a extremely unique color. Here at the base, we have like a really kind of like plum purple color. It's kind of light, and even at the base, I mean, this wig is clearly has gradation to it, but it also has different colored strands, and they blend together so that it looks pretty solid, like one color from a distance. But if you look up close, and you probably can't actually tell this, but there are actually dark blue strands in here, and there are kind of the like plum purple, mauve purple strands also in this hair. So it's a really, really cool color. And then down here at the tips, it's all blended into a really nice kind of ashy blue color. So it does kind of make you think of a mermaid, you know, not necessarily like Ariel, Little Mermaid kind of mermaid, but one that you might imagine would just be naturally swimming in the sea. And this color, that is of course very unique to Dream Holic, actually comes in some longer wigs, which looks like really cool. I don't know if maybe I would have held out for those if I'd have known about them, but this was an impulse buy. And the blue is actually more on the outside of the wig, and then if you kind of pull the blue layer back, there's more of the purple on the inside. So very cool color. And this is a nice kind of a bob cut. I only trimmed the bangs a real little bit on these, just kind of snipped off the edges. I know that a lot of people like to wear their wigs with the bangs a little lower, like really covering the eyebrows. And I think that looks really cute, but I actually don't really like the feeling of wig bangs on my glasses. It just kind of feels really bad. So that's why I cut my bangs a little bit shorter than most people do. One thing I like to do with this wig is pull out on the front some framing strands. Now if you brush this wig all together, these strands will actually kind of just blend in with the rest. It's kind of like all one unit, but it looks a lot nicer if you really pull out from the sides some framing strands, and then they just curl like that naturally. So this wig also, I mean, I would give this another stellar review. Because it doesn't have any clip-in hair, the hair itself is a little bit fuller, so it's harder to see the netting in the back, and I really like that. So if you take a little bit of this hair and kind of like pull it up, you actually would be able to secure it like that, and you don't see a bunch of netting everywhere. The ones that come with clip-in hair, they don't really have enough hair to do that without seeing a bunch of the netting too. So if I take this and kind of clip it in with that, like, it still looks very nice and natural. You're not seeing, you know, ugly stuff that makes it obvious it's a wig. I mean, it's kind of obvious due to the unnatural color, but it's pretty great. This wig is called Emil, and this is the milky lavender color. This is a wig I saw at Teco and fell in love with, but the only one left was the floor model, and it was looking really ratty from just being touched and experimented with all throughout the convention. So I waited until I got home and bought this one from Taobao, and it was a much better price anyway. So this one I did not trim the bangs. I just kind of let them go and kind of let them fall, you know, right at my eyebrows. This wig is really soft. This is definitely the most natural looking of the Dream Holic wigs I own. And I wanted one that was kind of a real light, subtle lavender. And this would go real nice with classic Lolita. It's not quite as sweet, not quite as in your face. And it makes kind of like a real nice, almost triangle shaped hairline, which is like totally different from my natural hair. So even though this is a fairly natural color, the style is so different from what I have that's what makes it really worth it to me. And this wig, all around, this could be worn as a deli wig. Now, obviously nobody has milky lavender colored hair, but it is still plenty natural enough. The waves are really loose and light. Now, when I first received this, it didn't look all that great. I mean, the waves were kind of like clumped together. They didn't look real natural and nice. So I just used, a nice wig brush and just kind of brushed through it, and it gave them this, beautiful, fluffy, kind of more natural, nice looking feel to them. So very soft, 5 out of 5, super high review I would give this. This wig is basically perfect in every way. So this next wig, this is one I was really excited for. This is called Catherine's Tea Time. This wig ended up significantly different than I thought it would be. So this is the Poisoned colorway, and the stock images on Dream Holic's website showed this as, it almost looked like the gradated colors were blonde and light pink, and in reality it's light pink all throughout the top, and then at the bottom this is actually a lavender, real light purple color. And in this lighting that I have here in this room, it actually looks a little more similar to Dream Holic's website actually, as I see this in the camera, but the reality is really not that. I mean, it is very clearly purple at the bottom, and so that kind of blindsided me a little. Now, purple's my favorite color, so this wig still has a lot of value for me. One of the things that surprised me about this wig when I got it is that the twin tails are actually in their natural state. They're kind of like one big sausage roll, and that's not really how they show it on their website. They show them more soft and fluffy like this. So I actually put this one back into a roll to show you how it naturally is, but you have to actually separate these curls to get it to look, nice and fluffy. So, I mean, they're easy to separate. You just kind of separate them out, run through it with your fingers. Probably want to use a wide tooth comb and then a brush to make them look real nice. And it's pretty easy to get them back into a big curl if for some reason you want that. You just kind of take all the hair in your hand and then, roll it up like this, and do a better job than what I'm doing right here. But it does kind of go back into, a one curl shape. I think they look really unnatural like that. They're kind of shiny when they're in that state. So the other things that blindsided me about this wig, and let me just take off the twin tails here. I actually thought this would be a really cool wig to wear as really short hair, because they show it like that on the website. But this hair is actually really thin. It's really easy to see the cap underneath it. It doesn't look so bad when it's just, falling down straight like this, but it really doesn't take much to see what's underneath it. And especially when you're brushing it, you can tell that to be the case. And it's actually so short. I mean, here in the back, there's almost like nothing. So very, very, very short in the back especially. And it looked just awful, like on my head without the twin tails. I don't know if it's just my face is too long or what, but it did not work at all. Here on the side, they do have like what I call like sideburn panels. Kind of covers up the side of your hair a little bit, but even with those, there's so little volume with this hair that it really didn't cover up, the edges of my natural hair at all. And then, of course, you've probably noticed that the bangs on this look really wonky. So this actually came with more of a hime cut. And these bangs here on the side, I would say about this much of them, actually came down to about there originally on each side. And they looked downright awful on my face. So what happened was they just didn't work with my glasses. They kind of fell down like into my glasses, or off to the side. They looked really, really bad. So I actually had to cut those straight the whole way across. So I ended up cutting them like really short and choppy. I just really couldn't get them to look nice any longer. They were really curled at the bottom. So this is what I ended up with. It's kind of funny because they're so short and choppy, it's almost like I'm trying to cut my bangs like a punk girl, but then when you get the twin tails, they're like these soft, fluffy, super kawaii ponytails. So I do like this wig, but I would probably give it like maybe a 3 or 4 out of 5, just because it wasn't really what I thought it would be. And these tails, there are some quality issues too. So I already told you about this elastic that's on the bottom with like that plastic thing to make them more perky. These ones are really frayed with the elastic, so that's kind of a bummer too. So one thing I do like about this wig a lot is that you can drastically change the way it looks with how you use the twin tails. So you can give it kind of a one ponytail look. Looks really nice. Actually looks a little bit cooler in a way than with two tails. And one thing I also have done is if you put them at the bottom, you can make the wig look a little bit more mature. So you can get, you know, kind of low twin tails. Looks nice with like a hat or something. Now the problem with this wig, it looks really unnatural because obviously nobody has really short hair like this and then like these big fluffy ponytails sticking out. So like this looks really cool from the front and like with the hat on, but from the side it looks like totally unnatural. Obviously real hair would have these parts kind of like, whoops, sorry, pulled into, you know, the ponytail. So I don't like that aspect of it, but overall I do still like this wig. It's actually my second most worn wig just because it does kind of pull off a really nice sweet look. I mean, it's great for like that pastel vomit type stuff. And one other thing I really do like about this wig, and let me put in the tails here, it does look really nice with really large headpieces. So like here I have this, it's kind of like a twist on a rectangle headdress. You know, it's not really a rectangle, but you know, it's basically the same kind of idea. And you can slap that on there, and this hair has plenty of volume. You know, there you can see at the sides. So it looks a lot nicer than, say, on my hair, which is really straight, really thin. Doesn't quite have the volume for some of these larger headdresses. Now the next wig I want to show, this is a special collaboration wig with Canal A. This is called Dream Chaser, and this is the Sakura Coral and Lavender mixed wig. So this wig actually has strands of pink and lavender all in it, and on the website it looks a lot more obvious that these colors are kind of mixed, but in real life they blend more into one shade. So it looks more like you have kind of a purplish pink colored wig than a mixed color wig. And the twin tails, they come, you know, all together in one big curl. And I really like them like this. I think this looks really cute. On the website they actually have them kind of separated a little bit. So they will have them separated kind of that the curls are, you know, a little more like that. I found that mine kind of naturally drift back together into one big curl, even if I separate them. But I kind of like them as one curl anyway. And on the side, there are some framing strands here. For whatever reason, on my wig, one of these curls is tighter on one side than the other. The bangs are pretty curly at the bottom. I trimmed them. I tried to straighten them a little bit. They still kind of went back into kind of a curved curl. Not the most flattering look on my face, but that's just how they are. And this wig is super cute. One thing I will say about it, there is a picture of Yu Kimura modeling this wig on their website, and what she is wearing is either her real hair dyed or a higher quality wig than this. This wig does not look as nice as it looks on her on the website, so don't be fooled. It's still a really nice wig, but not that nice. It looks really cute with just one ponytail. They show it that way on their website, so that's how I got the idea. And kind of similar to the Catherine's Tea Time wig, it does not work that great as a short-haired wig. This has the same basic construction as Catherine's Tea Time, except for the framing strands, and it didn't come with those Hime bangs either. But really, really, really super short hair here in the back. It does not look natural at all with the twin tails in. I mean, it's really obvious that you just got, you know, a short wig and you clipped some ponytails in it. That being said, This is a great wig for looking like a pastel princess, being kind of OTT, kind of gives you that, hey, I'm going to an anime con today look, you know, any of that kind of stuff. So it definitely has its place in the Lolita wardrobe. It looks super, super cute with stuff, you know, pinned in to kind of show off the pigtail. And it is highly advised that you do so, actually, because you do kind of see the clip. If you look closely, you can tell that it's a clipped-in ponytail. So overall, I would give this wig a 4 out of 5. There were no surprises with it. It's unnatural. It's just, you know, super sweet. Not really suitable for a daily wig, but still really cool. Now this next one, this is called Levia, and this is the mint soda color. This color is a bit deceiving in title because it's not really what most Lolitas consider mint. This has a nice dark blue here at the top, and then it gets lighter as you go down until it ends in a really light bluish green at the bottom. And I guess if you use your imagination, you can kind of say that that's a mint color. Not really, but the color does look like it does on the website, so it's not like you're ordering mint and expecting mint and you get something totally different. The style of this wig, the way the bangs look, they're not super curled, the way the soft waves look, kind of similar to the Emil wig I showed earlier. This style looks really natural. So the color is not that natural looking, but the style is really natural looking, so you could kind of maybe pass this off as this is my natural hair and I just dyed it this color. So I really like this wig. I haven't worn this in an actual co-ord yet. I just tried it on. It looked really natural. This would be another wig that, you know, I would give a perfect review to. The hair is not quite as thick as I would like, so if I pull this back, it is pretty easy to see the wig cap showing through, but you know, you're probably not really going to be pulling that back that much, so you probably would not be able to do, you know, say high pigtails with this wig, but you would be able to do, you know, just pulling a little bit of it back, putting it into, you know, a clip like that, you know, and that looks perfectly fine. So, very nice wig, very high quality wig. The next one I have here, this one is called Mermaid Princess, and this is the aqua green colorway. This one, the color was not exactly what I wanted, so it's called aqua green. I really wanted it to be green. It's really more of a dark blue. And here at the top, it actually has black hair here at the top. So obviously with my hair color and even skin color, I mean, jet black hair like this does not look natural on me. Now fortunately, it's really just the very crown that has that color. It really does not extend past, you know, maybe the first 1 or 2 inches of the top of this hair. Then it gets into a dark bluish green color, and then as you get toward the bottom, it kind of stays that color. So it's not really that gradated past the very crown of the hair. So the good news there for me is, if you wear a headdress, so like if I take this big fancy one from earlier, slap it on there, it's not quite so obvious that there's black hair on there. It kind of just looks like, you know, dark blue hair. And the waves on this are very loose waves, so I don't know, it's not that I don't like it, but they're almost a little bit too loose, like kind of like someone who has slightly wavy hair and didn't like use any products to make their waves look nicer. I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's called Mermaid Princess, so obviously the inspiration for this wig was someone swimming around in the ocean, so maybe that's accurate. But probably my least favorite thing about this wig, these bangs had a really harsh curl on the end of them. Like they really curled up. I just don't think that's a good look at all. Especially on my face, they look absolutely awful. So I haven't trimmed these yet, but I did use a straightener on the lowest heat setting and I straightened them out. And that of course made the bangs a lot longer, so I am probably going to need to trim these bangs. They are kind of full. They're a little bit fuller than the more wispy bangs on the other wigs that I have. So I'm hoping that once they're trimmed, they'll make kind of a real nice, real full looking instead of bangs. There are some quality issues with this wig, so I didn't remove or cut this out, but right here is actually a brown thread that is sticking out from this wig. So kind of hard to see, but it's basically from the inside of the wig, and I don't know why it's sticking out like that, but I didn't remove it so that I could show it for this video. Probably give this wig a 3 out of 5. The hair is nice and soft. It is probably the shiniest next to the Bianca Tear of Mermaid wig that I own. And it's thick enough that you could do most styles, but probably my biggest complaint would be that the website did not really express what aqua green would really be like. So I did want it to be more green, and the backdrop I had for this wig I think was like black, and it just kind of was really hard to tell what exactly it was going to look like. This wig is one of the ones that comes in that Tear of Mermaid color, which is this one that I showed for Bianca. It would probably look really, really cool in that color. Of course, the bangs would probably still be a bit wonky and all that, but the last wig I'm going to show, this one is called Miss Tess, and this is my most naturally colored wig. This wig, I had no idea what the color was going to be like, basically, and basically, spoiler alert, I would give this wig like a full 5 out of 5, but their website listing probably like a 2 out of 5, because they have a whole bunch of colors you can order, and they have a whole bunch of stock images, but they don't tell you which stock image is which color, and it's not necessarily super obvious for all of them what it actually is. So this is the candy peach color. The top of this is actually kind of similar. It's a real light brownish blonde, kind of similar to the color of my hair when I was a kid. My hair has darkened over the years, and I used to be out in the sun more, so I got a little bit of, sun bleaching action going on. So this color looks really natural on me, but the part I cared about was here at the bottom. It actually turns into a pink, and I guess that's the peach part when they say candy peach. It turns into a pink color, and it's a little bit hard to see in this lighting, but this is definitely pink. You can kind of see when the light passes through it here, the pink tones that are there in the bottom. So this is kind of a style. I see a lot of women and girls, and guys, anybody really, doing this where they kind of take the tips of their hair and dye them an unnatural color, and it looks really cool. So there was a swath, like kind of a hair swath photo on their website of what candy peach looked like, and I could tell that it kind of turned into a pinkish thing, but I wasn't really sure what the rest of it would look like. And I'm happy with how it looks. It's more natural than I thought it would look, but I'm still happy with it. And this wig is super, super full. So this is like the exact opposite of the hair I have. When I received this, these curls were super tight. They looked kind of bad when they were real tight, to be honest. They looked kind of shiny, kind of unnatural. So I separated them, and it became this really nice, really fluffy, really big wig. The bangs I did not trim. I feel like these bangs come shorter by default than the other wigs I have. These bangs looked absolutely just the perfect length on my face. So if you like them a little bit longer, you might think these are a little too short. They're slightly curly, not super curly, so I'll be wearing this without modification. And when I put it on, it was just a hair explosion, like just hair everywhere. I can't wait to wear this and post it on Instagram so you all can see. But I did dream of having curly hair like this when I was a little girl, so it is kind of like a fulfillment of that. Here you can see one of these curls is still a little bit tighter. They were actually tighter than this. They were kind of almost like a bunch of small ringlet curls all throughout this wig. This hair, while it does look natural, it does look real, it would not look natural on me personally. So I wouldn't wear this as a daily wig, but maybe someone with more naturally curly hair could pull it off just to get that pop of color. It is a lot shorter than I thought it would be, The website showed it kind of being longer, and I don't know if just my head and my face are so long that the hair doesn't appear as long, but it really only goes down to about here on me, so a little different than what I was expecting. So overall, I really love Dream Holic Wigs, obviously. One of the shortfalls I feel of their wigs is how difficult it is to tell what the colors will actually be, and also that there are many colors they don't have. So I really wanted a real light Sax blue wig, and there are no colors that they produce that look like that, so that's why I bought a cheaper Chinese Taobao wig from Man Really for that, but the quality is just not up to snuff if you're used to Dream Holic. Now, if you like natural colors, they have tons of colors that look more natural, and similar to the more unnatural ones like I have, it is kind of hard to tell which color is going to be which. So it is best to look up reviews or look up other Lolitas who have bought these wigs just to see what they're going to look like. I like to buy wigs that do not look like my natural hair, or so you're not going to see me buy a long straight wig in like platinum blonde or something. It's just too natural. You know, if I wanted that, I would just dye my hair. So I really like the unnatural colors or styles like this that are super curly, that are just so different from what I have. And also short hair. I don't plan on ever cutting my hair short, so I do really appreciate having this really short wig. Pretty natural looking, but kind of wild enough to still satisfy me. So I probably will buy a few more wigs in the future if they release some new, more fantasy-like colors. But I would recommend these wigs to anybody, and if you are feeling up to it, definitely check out their Taobao store. You can get quite a bang for your buck on these wigs. A lot of them are around $30 in US currency, and for the quality, that's a really good deal. So thank you for watching this review. I hope it helped you if you're interested in Dream Holic wigs. I hope it helped you a little bit more than their product pages did. Alright, bye.